Hey guys, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Great, great, excellent. So it's a lovely Sunday afternoon, and we have done a lot of passage solving practice over the past few classes. So I thought we should take a break and discuss some grammar today. So I have prepared two documents for you. One is on tenses, and the other is on subject verb agreement. We will first begin with the tenses one, and it's a pretty long one. So I intend to deal with tenses in a holistic way, so that and a very comprehensive way, so that you don't have to look back at it ever again. Okay. So if we finish that within the 1.5 hours or in like an hour or so, then we will move on to subject verb agreement. Otherwise, we will only do tenses today. Okay. Just give me 1 second. I will share my screen. I hope you can see this. Yeah. So today we are going to discuss tenses. I'm pretty like most of these are very basic things, but I would like if you pay attention, just so you, even if you know it, you can revise, and if you don't, like you might just learn something new, and that something might just help you in your exam. Okay. So what is a category or verbal inflection? Inflection means a change in pitch or tone of voice. Okay. So a tense is a category of verbal inflection that expresses the time at, during, or when, over which a state or action that a verb. What is a verb? Verb is an action word. So whatever word indicates that an action is being done is a verb. And a tense is a word which expresses the time at which the action or the state which the verb describes happens. Okay, so there are basically three broad types of tenses. One is the past tense, which is also called bhutkal in Hindi. Then there is the present tense, which is the vartaman kal in Hindi, and then there is the future tense, which is the bhavishya kal. Okay. Now, what is past tense? Past tense expresses action, activity, and state of being in the past. Very simple, basic, very simple things. Okay. Now, what is simple past? Simple past says that an action, pay attention to this, an action started and finished at a particular time. Okay. For example, Henry arrived at the airport. That action of arrival started and finished at a particular time. So this action was completed in the past, which is why it is the simple past. Henry arrived at the airport is simple past. It is not present because it has already been done. It is not future because it has already been done. It is past because it has been done, and it has already been completed in the past at a very specific time, which is when Henry arrived at the airport, and so it is simple past. Now again, I finished my lunch, went to the beach, and found a nice place to swim. Now finished is again simple past. Went, simple past. Found, simple past. What was simple past? Action started and finished at a specified time in the past. So first I finished my lunch, then I went to the beach, and then I found a nice place to swim. All of these actions I completed in the past and in a sequence. So all of these are examples of the past tense. Now, again, Richard studied astronautical engineering for 3 years. So it shows 3 years. It shows a duration in the past. Again, studied, which means Richard has finished astronautical engineering studies. And how long did he study for? He studied for 3 years. So it is also past tense. Okay. Eric was shy as a child, but now he is very outgoing. This is past generalization. Was. Eric was, but now he is. He is again present tense. Was shy, past tense. Okay. Dinosaurs were once the dominant terrestrial vertebrate animals. Again, example of the past tense. Now, when clauses, okay, always happens first. When clauses always are also same at the beginning or at the end of the sentence. And this is an example, okay, when clause. She answered my question when I paid her $1. If you change it also, even if like it does not come, the clause does not follow when. Like if even if the when clause is at the beginning of the sentence, like when I paid her $1, she answered my question. It doesn't change the structure of the when clause, okay? And whenever you send them when something happened, then this happened. Okay. So when clause always happens before something else happens. Like in this case, when I paid her $1, after that she answered my question. She did not answer my question before I paid her $1. So like the action, the main action in the sentence happens after the when clause. And it does not matter whether you put the when clause at the beginning of the sentence or at the end of the sentence. Like she answered my question when I paid her $1. When I paid her $1, she answered my question. Very simple, basic thing, very easy. Yes, this is exactly what I was saying. Pay, then answer. And this does not change, no, even if it is at the end of the sentence or at the beginning of the sentence. Again, now this is she. I paid her when. Now, when if you write, she answered my question when I paid her $1. That means the when clause is when I paid her $1. That means you first paid, I first paid, then she answered the question. But if you say when she answered my question, I paid her $1, that means she answered your question first and then you paid. Okay, then the when clause changes. Like it just depends. Like the when clause depends on where you put the when. But the clause as a whole does not change on where you put the entire clause. Okay. Now, use past continuous to indicate that a longer action in the past was interrupted. The interruption is usually a shorter action in the simple past. Okay, pay attention to this. We will come back to this. Don't worry. We will with examples. We were driving. We were driving. This is past. Driving is continuous. So we were doing something continuously in the past. We were driving through the desert when our car suddenly broke down. So what is this car breaking down? The car breaking down is interruption in a past action. And what is that past action? That is of driving the car through the desert. And this is why there we use past continuous. Past continuous to indicate a longer action. The action of driving through the desert was interrupted when the car broke down. And that interruption is a shorter action. The car breaking down in the simple past. Again, check simple past, broke down. Simple past. Past continuous. Longer action interrupted by a simple past action, interrupted action in the past. Look at it here. Look at this. Past action, continuous action, interrupted by an action in the simple past. Again, when I walked into the office, several people were busy typing. Some were talking on the phone. The boss was yelling, and customers were waiting to be helped. This is all. Again, were busily typing, were talking, was yelling, were waiting. Again, this is something that continued to happen in the past. Was in the past. Waiting, continuously happening, something. So when you walked into the office, some people were, again, see, this is walked into the office. This is walked, simple past, simple past. So some people in the past continuous, this is what you use. Several people were busy typing. Some were talking on the phone. The boss was yelling and the customers were waiting to be helped. These all continuous actions in the past were interrupted when I walked into the office. Again, coming back to this, use past continuous to indicate that a longer action, talking, typing, yelling, waiting, in the past was interrupted by walking in. When I walked in, simple past. Very simple, very basic thing. Nothing to worry about, okay? Very simple. Now, what is the past perfect? Past continuous, you understood? Any questions? Simple past, past continuous. If any questions at any time, guys, feel free to ask. Or if you have any input, please feel free to provide them. Otherwise, if any questions on simple past, past continuous. Otherwise, I think that you have all understood. Okay, wonderful, great, great. So now what is the past perfect? Past perfect means that something occurred before something else, and all this happened in the past. Something happened before something, another action, and this all happened in the past. Also you can say, you can use past perfect to show that something happened before a specific time. Okay, don't worry. If you don't understand it now, you will understand it. Just give me 2 minutes. Tony knew Istanbul so well because he had visited the city several times. Again, something occurred before another action in the past. So, Tony knew Istanbul so well because he had visited. Because something had happened in the past, something had happened before something occurred. Tony had visited Istanbul many times before he knew Istanbul so well. Okay, before he knew Istanbul so well. Before he knew Istanbul so well. So this is past perfect. Had visited. Had visited. Something had occurred before something else in the past. What happened in the past? Tony knew Istanbul very well. And why did Tony knew Istanbul well? Because earlier he had visited the city several times. So he completed this action of knowing Istanbul. He completed this action of visiting Istanbul before something, which is here knowing Istanbul well in the past. Okay? Focus on this. Focus on this. Very simple. Something had happened before something else in the past. Now again, they felt bad about selling the house because they had owned, again past perfect, had owned it for more than 40 years. Again, they felt bad. That is the second action. They felt bad about selling the house because they had owned, something occurred or before they had owned it for over 40 years in the past. over 40 years in the past. So for something that occurred before, you use past perfect, which is had owned. Had owned here. Had owned. You understand? Very simple, basic thing. What is the second action that is happening here? Them feeling bad about selling the house. And the other thing that had happened before it was them owning the house for more than 40 years. So that other thing you put as past perfect. Past perfect. Okay. This is past perfect. Duration before something in the past. Had owned past perfect. She never saw a bear before she moved to Alaska. She never saw a bear before she moved to Alaska. Okay. If the past perfect is not referring to an action at a specific time, remember this, very important. When is past perfect compulsory? Past perfect is compulsory when it is not referring to an action at a specific time. Here, in this case, past perfect refers to her lack of experience. What does not refer to an action at a specific time. Here it is saying, no. Past perfect expresses the idea that something occurred before another action in the past. That much we have covered. That much we have understood. It can also show that something happened before a specific time in the past. That is also what we are understanding, what we are seeing. But here, she never saw a bear before she moved to Alaska. What is the past form in this? First, you tell me this. Whether it is simple past, whether it is past continuous, whether it is past perfect. What is this? The use of past tense in this sentence? Is it simple past?
Past
Is it
continuous.
Past continuous. Where is the continuing action in this sentence?
Okay. Yeah.
Where is the continuous action? Look at this. Look at this. Were typing. So something was happening continuously. Continued action in the past. Were talking. Was yelling. Were waiting. Happening continuously. Were driving. And simple is were, was, very simple, studied, simple past. Action started and finished in the past. Started and finished in the past continuous means it continued in the past. It was continuing in the past until there was an interruption. And past perfect means it happened before another action happened in the past. Okay, so here it is simple past, because she had never seen a bear before she moved to Alaska. Moved is also simple past. Her moving to Alaska at a specific time, that is what it is indicating. Saw is also simple past, because that it is showing that before she had been to Alaska, she had never seen a bear, which is why simple past. Now, if you convert it to past perfect, she had never seen. Again, look at it. Had owned, had visited. This is past perfect. Had. Okay. So she had never seen a bear. This is, you are converting simple past here. She never saw a bear before she moved to Alaska into past perfect. She had never seen a bear before she moved to Alaska. Because here there is no action at a specified time. If there was an action at a specified time, you would have used simple past. But here it is referring to a lack of experience. So if the past perfect is not referring to an action at a specific time, there is no action at a specific time here. Then the past perfect is compulsory and you cannot use the simple past. which is why she never saw a bear before she moved to Alaska is incorrect, and she had never seen a bear before she moved to Alaska is the correct usage. We use this very frequently. We use sentences like these, but they are grammatically incorrect. Now, we have learned simple past, specific action, specific time at in the past. We have learned past continuous, specific action in a continued manner or was continuing in the past. We have used the past perfect, which is something happened before something else in the past. Now, what is the past perfect continuous? The past perfect continuous shows that something happened in the sense that it started in the past, which is the past term, and then it continued, which is the something started in the past, and then it continued, which is the continuous portion, up until another time, which is the perfect portion in the past. Okay, something started in the past, continued up until another time in the past, which is the past perfect continuous. Let's look at some examples. James had been teaching at the university for more than a year before he left for Asia. Okay, now look at it here. Use the past perfect continuous to show that something started in the past and continued up until another time. Started in the past, he started teaching in a university. Okay, this started in the past and this continued up until a year, up until more than a year before he left for Asia. So here you use past perfect continuous. This is the had been is the, like I said, had is the past perfect form. Past perfect form, had been, teaching is the continuous form. And because it all happened in the past, so it is a past perfect continuous where the action started in the past. He began teaching in the university at the university in the past, and it continued in the past. He continued teaching for more than a year, and then he left for Asia. So he has already left for Asia. This is all in the past. So it is past perfect continuous. The motorcycle had been belonging to George for years before Tina bought it. The motorcycle had been belonging to George for years before Tina bought it. What do you think? Is this correct grammatically or incorrect? Or is it awkward or correct but awkward and you can find a better way to write this sentence?
So we can write it as the motorcycle belonged to John before Tina bought it.
Yes. Yes. Had belonged to John. You missed had there. Mixed verb, okay. Non-continuous verbs. Non-continuous verbs meaning it belonged. Like George sold it to Tina. So the belongingness of the motorcycle is not continuing with John, which is why it is non-continuous. So this verb is non-continuous because George has not continued being in possession of the motorcycle because Tina has already bought it. So you cannot use continuous tense for any continuous tense, whether it is past, present, or future. You cannot use it for a non-continuous verb. Belonging is a non-continuous. Also, certain non-continuous meanings for mixed verbs cannot be used in continuous. Like subjects and verbs, we will do this next week, and then you will understand this more clearly. Like what are mixed verbs and what are non-continuous verbs. But for now, just remember that for verbs that are not continuing, you cannot use them in any continuous tense. Instead of using past perfect continuous, use past perfect in this, right? Shantanu had said use simple past, but the correct was used with the past perfect. Why would it be past perfect? Because Tina has bought the motorcycle. Bought, which means this has happened in the past. But before that, what had happened in the past? The motorcycle had belonged to George, which is exactly where you use past perfect. Let's go back up, which is exactly where you use past perfect to say that something occurred before another action. The motorcycle had belonged to George before Tina bought it. Okay, before Tina bought it. So past perfect, not past simple past, not past continuous, not past perfect continuous. Okay. Now, non-continuous verbs are things that you cannot see anybody doing. Okay. So like to be, to want, to cost, to seem, to need, to care, to contain, to owe, to exist, to possess, to own, to belong. Like like if you say that I own my house, like everyone will accept that yes, you own your house, but no one, like, you can't do a particular thing, you can't do a particular action which would tell the entire world that yes, this guy owns this house. Like you don't go and like crack coconuts in front of your house every single day, right? If you do it, like when you buy a new car and you break open a coconut, crack a coconut in front of the car and do a whole puja and all, then people see, this guy owns this car or this girl owns this car. But you don't do that every single day, na? You don't, because it is not an action. Like that action that you are doing, the verb that you are doing is breaking the coconut. You are not doing the verb of owning the car. There's no such thing that you can do, okay? You cannot show that you are owning something. So these are non-continuous verbs where you cannot see, because if it is continuing verb, if it is continuous verb, that means that action is continued for some amount of time. And if it is continued, that means the person who is watching the doer of the action has to see that that action is being performed. Otherwise, whoever, like if you, like we were talking about, was yelling, were waiting. You can see that people are waiting. You can see that people are talking. You can see that people are yelling. But you cannot see that people are owning, people are possessing, people are costing, people are needing, people are caring. You cannot see that, which is why you don't use continuous tenses. You can use, but like it would be better if you did. Okay, for non-continuous verbs, which is for things you cannot see somebody doing. Please don't use. Please don't make these rookie mistakes. Please don't use continuous tenses. And what are mixed verbs? Mixed verbs are verbs that have more than one meaning, and each is a unique verb. For example, to appear. To appear means two things. Like to appear means, in Hindi we can say dikhna, and also we can say prakat hona. Like to appear means something like you appear to be dressed very elegantly. You appear dressed in an elegant manner. That means you appear, your appearance, okay, your outward appearance. Whereas it can also be used in another meaning to say that he appeared out of nowhere, which means that the verb is coming to a place where they were not before. That is again something else. It can also mean your outward appearance. It can mean and many other things. Similarly, to feel. To feel means to feel hurt, to feel bad, to feel sad, and also to feel means like to touch. Okay, to touch, to hear, to look, to see, to wait. So all these verbs have more than one meaning, and they have all unique verbs. Okay, they are all unique verbs. Every meaning is unique. Like appearing, his appearance, like he appeared all of a sudden. He appeared here all of a sudden. He appeared to be doing something. Things like these can all mean these are all unique verbs. They are mixed verbs, like they use the same word as a verb form, but they have different meanings, so they are unique in themselves. And some meanings behave like non-continuous verbs, while others are like non-continuous verbs, where you cannot see somebody doing something. Like you cannot see somebody feeling sad, but you can see somebody feeling a thing or a surface or a person's hand or something. Okay, so you can see. So in when the feeling means feeling hurt, it is a non-continuous verb. Whereas when feeling means touching, it is a normal verb. So when it is in non-continuous form, you cannot use continuous tense. Like you can, but you should not. So again, certain non-continuous meanings for mixed verbs cannot be used in continuous tenses. Like I was saying, when you are feeling hurt, you cannot say like I had been feeling. It makes no like it is not correct use. I felt I felt sad. I felt sad would be a better answer. Now, now that with we are done with the past tense, let's move on to the present tense, where present tense expresses action, activity, and state of being in the present. Very, very, very basic, very basic. Now again, let's focus on the common usage ideas and principles for present tense. Okay. Now again, like in past tense, we had simple past to indicate that an action happened or an event happened at some time in the past. Similarly, we have simple present to say that an action is repeated or it is usual. Okay. So I eat breakfast every morning at 6:30. I go to work every day. It is regular. Eating breakfast at 6:30 for some people it is regular. For some people eating breakfast at 2 p.m. is also regular. And for some people going to work every day is regular. It is very usual. So there here simple present is used. Simple present. Eat. And what would be the simple past form of eat? Someone?
I
Class
ate breakfast.
8. And what will be the past continuous? Was eating.
I was eating.
Was eating. And past perfect?
I had
Uh,
been eating.
had
Yeah,
been eating.
I had
Had
it.
no, had been eating
Had
will
been
be
eating.
past perfect continuous because you were
Had
eating.
it.
I had eaten. I had eaten. That would be past perfect. And I had been eating before you came. That will be past perfect continuous. Very simple. Very simple. Earth revolves. Again, something that happens repeatedly. The Earth revolving around the sun. It happens once every year. So the Earth revolves around the sun. This is a general fact. So used in simple present. Simple present action repeated or usual. Now present continuous. Am eating. With it is used with normal verbs to express idea that something is happening now. Like when you say, "Sir, can we have class now?" Then I will say, "I am having internet issues." So that internet issue is happening right now at this very moment when we are talking. Okay. And it can also be used to show that something is not happening now. Let's look at this. Okay. I am sitting down because I am tired. This is in the past. The action of sitting is happening in the past. sorry, I'm so sorry, in the present, the action of sitting down is happening in the present, and it is happening at this very moment when this speaker is saying, when this little child, when this girl is saying, this girl went for a run and then she was got tired and then she sat down. Then like someone came up to her and asked, "Acha girl, why are you sitting?" So she said, "I am sitting down because I am tired. I am sitting down, present continue. I am sitting, present continuous. Means present form, sitting continuous, happening for a continued time. This is to say that something is taking place right now at this exact moment. Okay. Sally is studying really hard. Like you guys are also studying really hard for, I hope, your class exam. Similarly, this girl Sally here is studying really hard for her exams this week. And this action is happening now, but not necessarily this very moment. Again, it can also be used to show that something is not happening now. So that is happening generally. Like generally it is happening around this time. Like Sally is studying really hard, but you don't know for sure that it is happening. Like right now, if you go to Sally's home, or if you call Sally will say, "Bro, don't call me right now. I'm studying really hard for my exams this week." But you know that she is studying really hard because she has turned off all her Instagram and all. So she is studying really hard. This is again not happening at necessarily at this very moment, but happening around this time, around now. So it is also using present continuous. Present continuous. Now, I am seeing my dentist on Wednesday. It is not happening right now. You are not seeing this on Wednesday. Okay, today is Sunday. Today is Sunday. So Wednesday is 2 days away. So you are not seeing your dentist, and seeing here means going for a checkup. You are not seeing your dentist at this very moment. At this very moment, this is not happening. But this will happen in the near future. This will happen in the very near future. Near future means very soon in the future. Yes, yes, Shafi, plant is growing. Very good. Correct. Something happening right now. Very good. I am seeing my dentist on Wednesday. Okay. Now, she is loving this chocolate ice cream. What is wrong with this, guy? What is wrong with this?
So she can say, I love chocolate ice cream to make
No,
it
no, but
simple.
he's not saying, no. You are saying for her.
She
So what
loves
will
this chocolate
you
ice
are
cream.
saying to a third person? Yeah, correct. Bang on. You will say, she loves this chocolate ice cream. She loves this chocolate ice cream. Remember, remember that again. Non-continuous verb, Shantanu. You cannot see her loving this ice cream. So you cannot use it in the continuous tense. So instead of using present continuous with these verbs, use simple present. Or when it was in the case of past, what would you have used? I have to go back up again. Past perfect. Past perfect. So if this had happened, if this happened in the past, like if this is happening now, you say she loves this chocolate ice cream. But if she this action of her loving this chocolate ice cream happened in the past, then what would you have written?
She had loved this chocolate ice cream.
She had loved this chocolate ice cream. Correct, correct. use present perfect. Now again, what is present perfect? Simple present we have done, present continuous we have done. Now we are coming to present perfect. What is present perfect? Present perfect is used to express action that has already been completed. So for example, in this example, past present continuous was being used for something that will happen in the near future. Present perfect is used for something that has been completed when you think about it in the present with respect to the present. Okay. Now what is an example? Now if someone comes and tells you, come on guys, please watch Race 3 again. Okay, you will say, I have already seen that film. I do not want to see it again. Please just blind me before this happens. Okay. So I have seen. Have is past. Seen is past perfect. I have seen this film. This is something that happened, completed. You completed the action of seeing this film, that film, Race 3, in the past. So you use present perfect. Present perfect. I have seen that film, already seen that film. I have seen. I do not want to see it again. And here the time is unspecified time before the present, so time does not matter, but you use here present perfect. Now, I went to Mexico last year. Is it correct? Or can it be made better? Can you find a better form of the sentence, or do you think it is fine?
I visited Mexico last year.
I had gone to Mexico last year.
I had gone. Others. Shafi, तुमको क्या लगता है? क्या होना?
सर सर मतलब इस सेंटेंस में एरर निकालना है या इसको सही करना है एकदम?
अगर तुमको सही लगता है तो फिर बोलो कि सही है. अगर तुमको लगता है कि इससे बेटर हो सकता है तो फिर बोलो क्या लगता है तुमको. वैसे वो लोग बताए अपना अपना. वरिष्ठा तुम भी बताओ अपना. सही लगता है तो सही बोल दो, कोई इशू नहीं है. बोल दो कि सही है.
So I think it will be I had gone to Mexico last year.
I had gone to Mexico. अच्छा. I went to Mexico last year. Correct. 100% correct. This is I went to Mexico in the calendar year before this one. Last year. I went to Mexico last year. Now, if you have to express it in the past perfect form, present perfect again, sorry. I keep messing this up. If you have to express this happened in the past. It has already been completed. Action already completed in the past. Already completed with respect to the present. So now when you are asking me whether if I have been to Mexico, then I am saying I went to Mexico last year. So with respect to present, this has already been done. So I can use past perfect here to say I have been to Mexico in the last year. I have been to Mexico. Have been is present perfect. Present perfect. Not past perfect, present perfect. Now, I have been to Mexico in the last year, which means I have been to Mexico at least once at some point between 365 days ago and now. In the last year का मतलब तो सीधे सीधे यही होगा कि अभी से लेके आज से 365 दिन पहले तक कभी ना कभी तो मेक्सिको मैं जा चुका हूं. अब देखिए आप, लास्ट ईयर and in the last year, these are very different things. Okay. Last year means 2019. Okay, 2019. Last year means 2019. If you are talking right now, and in the last year means today is 13 December. So in the last year means from 13 December 2019 to 13 December 2020. तो हो गया ना डिफरेंट. लास्ट ईयर और इन द लास्ट ईयर अलग है दोनों. बात का पूरा मतलब ही चेंज हो जा रहा है. आप अगर कह रहे हैं आई हैव बीन टू मेक्सिको इन द लास्ट ईयर, यस, सो last year means the year before now and considered a specific time. Simple past. Simple past. Last year specific time mein you finished the action of going to Mexico in the past, so use simple past. Now in the last year. In the last year means not a specified time, not specified time. So use present perfect. Something completed already with respect to the present, but not at a specified time, unspecified time before present. This is present perfect. So you understand the difference between last year and in the last year? When it is last year, it is a specific year, very specifically 2019 if we talk about now. But in the last year means any time not specified from 13 December 2019 to 13 December 2020. So here you use present perfect, while in the last year, in the case of in the last year, you use simple past. This simple past. Okay, now when do you use present perfect continuous? We have discussed past perfect continuous, so we'll of course discuss present perfect continuous, and we have discussed present perfect continuous also. Now I am sitting down because I was tired, because I am tired. Remember that girl sitting on the side of the track? So use present perfect continuous to refer to an event that may or may not be finished when its effect can be seen now. Okay, let's unclutter this. Okay, look, it has been snowing. Look, it has been snowing. So you are seeing the effect of snowing, like snow falls, snow on the roads and everything in the present. But you cannot say for certain from this sentence, look, it has been snowing, whether it has finished snowing already or not. Finished snowing already or not. Okay. It might have stopped. It might still be continuing. So you use the past. You use the present perfect continuous. Has been snowing. Present perfect continuous. Duration from the past until the present. Effects are seen in the present, but you cannot say for certain whether it was completed, it is completed, or it is still continuing. So you use the present perfect continuous. Now, Sam has been having this car for 2 years. Again, look at it here. Refer to an event may or may not be finished when its effect can be seen now. May or may not be event, event may or may not be finished when its effect can be seen now. Sam has been having his car for 2 years. Correct? Incorrect? If incorrect, what is wrong with it? Guys?
So isn't has and have the same, like same, has and have the same verb with different forms?
Okay, okay. And what about others? What do you think? Shafi, Varishtha, Shantanu, if you are still with us.
So maybe it will be Sam has his car for 2 years.
Has his car for 2 years.
Hmm.
Okay.
So I think the grammar of it is correct, but I don't know if it's,
I
we can
think the
say
grammar
it
is
has
correct.
been having.
You think John is right?
Sam have been having his car.
Sam has Sam have been having his car for 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, guys. Again, remember this. You cannot use continuous tenses to express non-continuous verbs. Instead of using present perfect continuous, use present perfect. Sam has had his car for 2 years. Again, we are coming to very simple things. Non-continuous verb, having car, because you cannot actually see someone having a car. If someone was eating a car, probably then yes, you can do that. But that does not happen with normal human beings. So you cannot use the present perfect continuous in this sentence, and you have to go for present perfect.
So I switched having with owning, and then the sentence was correct. So I thought the problem was with having. So that's why I said that I thought the grammar was correct.
Sorry. The problem was this having, right? The problem was with
Yes,
has
sir.
been
I
having.
switched it with owning. Then the sentence was correct. So I thought the problem was with having, and so I said the grammar was correct.
But even if it was with owning, then you would have said Sam has owned his car for 2 years. Even then you would have
So owning is a non-continuous verb.
yeah, you cannot see someone owning, no? You cannot see.
Yes, sir.
You for all you might know, Sam might have like stolen this car.
Yes, sir.
You don't know. You just see Sam driving around in a car. You don't know. You don't go and see, Sam, show me your papers. Sam will say, who are you? Are you traffic police? You will say no. Then Sam will say, get lost. So you see Sam driving around in a car. You see that Sam has his name written on the back of the car, but you don't know for sure whether it is his car or whether he has stolen it from somewhere, got it as a gift or whatever. Okay. So use present perfect. You cannot see him actually owning the car. Owning is something that is not seen by the eyes. It is an artificial creation of the mind, possession and all. You cannot see something. Someone is not holding on to every single piece of land that they have. It's just not possible. So it is a non-continuous verb. So you cannot use in a continuous tense. Even if it was owning, you cannot have used that. Now, coming to the most exciting time in the spectrum, which is the future. Future tense expresses action, activity, and state in the future. Now, again, simple future has two different forms of English, will and be going to. Both will and be going to. Both of them refer to a specific time. Like, if I am elected President of the United States, I will make sure everyone has access to inexpensive health insurance. This is something in the specific time in the future. Specific time in the future. After election as the President of the United States. When I am elected President. If I am elected President. This is specific time in the future. I will. This is simple future. Will. Or he could even have said, I am going to. Both would have been simple past. I will make sure everyone has access to inexpensive health insurance. And this inexpensive health insurance policy was called commonly called the Obamacare Act. Okay. So will to express a promise in the future. This is the future tense. Future tense. Now, again, question for you guys. when you will arrive tonight, we will go out for dinner. Whether it is correct, whether it is incorrect.
No, sir. When you arrive tonight, we will go out for dinner.
When you arrive tonight, we will go out for dinner. Okay, that is John's answer. What do others think?
So we shall go out for dinner when you arrive tonight.
Don't go into ठीक है, we shall doesn't matter, don't worry about it now. We shall go for dinner when you arrive tonight. Okay, others? Shafi,
So
where
we
is
will be going out for dinner when you arrive tonight.
we will be going out for dinner. This is will be going out for dinner. Okay, when
When
you
you
arrive.
arrive.
Okay, Shafi? अच्छा शफी शायद नहीं है अभी कोई दिक्कत नहीं है now no future in time clause okay so when you use clauses that begin with time expressions like when while before after by the time as soon as if unless don't use never use the future tense whether it is simple future whether it is future perfect whether it is future continuous don't use future when there is a time clause. Wherever there is a time clause, don't use future and instead use present. So when you will tonight, we will go out for dinner. We will go out for dinner. When you will arrive is simple present. So when you will arrive, we will go out for dinner. Now, the future perfect expresses the idea. So future perfect says that something will occur before something else in the future. Something will happen before something else in the future. And it can also show that something will happen before a specific time in the future. Now let us look at examples. You are going to have perfected your Chinese by the time you come back from China. Okay. So there is one action. One action is coming back from China. Okay. One action is coming back from China, and this is going to happen in the future. And the second action or state that or course of things that will happen before that action of coming back from China is perfecting your Chinese. So you are going to have perfected. You are going to have perfected. This is future perfect. Your Chinese by the time. So before you come back from China in the future, you will have perfected your Chinese. Completed action before something in the future. Completed action. The completed action is perfecting Chinese before something in the future. This something is coming back from China in the future. Now, future continuous again. It has also two forms: will be doing and I'm going to be doing. Like we had said in simple future, it was I will or I am going to. Similarly, here it is I will be doing and I am going to be doing. Now, let us look at examples. I am going to be staying at the Madison Hotel if anything happens and you need to contact me. Again, like continuous form, we had discussed in past continuous that something happened in the past and that happening was in a continuous manner. So something was continuously happening over a course of time in the past before it was interrupted by something else. So here also something is going to happen in the future, and that is going to happen in a continued form. So you are going to be staying. Now again, John, because you had this doubt with own, you can see that someone is staying in a hotel because they are living in that hotel, they're ordering room service and all, and they're like, so you can see that they are doing that action of staying at the hotel. So if anything happens and you need to contact me, this is the interruption. Like in past perfect continuous, we had like in past continuous, we had discussed how a continued action was interrupted in the past. Can we use past continuous? Similarly, when something is going to be interrupted and action in the future is going to be interrupted, then we will use future continuous. So your action of staying at the Madison Hotel will be interrupted if something happens and the person that you are saying this to calls you up and says, yeah, hey, you have to come right now, there's an emergency. So your action of staying at the Madison Hotel will be interrupted in the future. In the future. So you use future continuous, and future continuous has two forms: will be doing and be going to be doing. Will be doing and be going to be doing. Again, another example. At midnight tonight, we will still be driving through the desert. Again, will be doing, will be driving. Or you could have, or could have also said, be going to be doing, will be going to be driving, we are going to be driving. That would have been, we are going to be driving, we will be driving, we are going to be driving, both are future continuous, through the desert. And this, in place of interruption, there is a specific time as an interruption in the future. So this is very similar to the past continuous. Okay, future continuous is very simple, very similar to the past continuous. Now, when there are parallel actions in the future, then also you say, tonight they will be eating dinner, discussing their plans, and having a good time. Again, very similar to past continuous. Remember that example? When I walked into the office, then people were busily typing, some people were talking on their phone, the boss was yelling, and the clients were waiting to be served. Remember that? Parallel actions that happened in the past, we use past continuous. Similarly, parallel actions that happen in the future, eating dinner, discussing plans, and having a good time, you use future continuous. Now, when you are going to describe the atmosphere in the future, so here you are saying, when I arrive at the party, everybody is going to be celebrating. Some will be dancing, others are going to be talking. A few people will be eating pizza, and several people are going to be drinking beer. They always do the same thing. What are you doing? You are describing the atmosphere of a party you are going to in the future. So when you do that, when you describe an atmosphere of an event or a place or anything in the future, you use future continuous. Now, while I am going to be finishing my homework, she is going to make dinner. What do you guys think about this? While I am going to be finishing my homework, she is going to make dinner. Again, future continuous cannot be used in clauses that begin with time expression, like while, before, after. We had discussed this earlier also. Yes. cannot be used in clauses that begin with time expressions. So this is the clause when you will arrive tonight. It is beginning with time. So you cannot use future here. Similarly, this is the clause while I am going to be finishing my homework. This is the clause, okay? Uh, this is the clause while I am going to be finishing my homework. So you cannot use. This is a clause beginning with a time indicator, time expression. So you cannot use future continuous here. While I am going to be, this is future continuous, going to be finishing. Look at it here. Going to be doing. Be going.
While I am finishing my homework, she is going to make dinner. She is going to make dinner. Okay. She is going to make dinner. Now, what is the future perfect continuous? So the future perfect continuous also, like the future continuous, has two forms. One is the will have been doing. So will is the future, have been is the perfect form, and doing is the continuous. And another that you can use it is be going to have been doing. Going to have been doing. Will have been doing, going to have been doing. She is going to have been working at that company for 3 years when it finally closes. 3 years when it finally closes. Again, like we were using in the that example, he had been teaching at the university for more than a year before he moved to Asia. Remember that example? Similarly, when you are describing a duration before something happens in the future, you are going to use future perfect continuous. She is going to have been working at that company for 3 years when it finally closes. So when the company closes in the future, the duration of her working at that company will be 3 years. So here you use future perfect continuous, is going to have been whatever, whatever. Now, what is this? Clarence's English will be perfect when he returns to Germany because he is going to have been studying. Again, future perfect continuous, is going to have been studying English in the United States for over 2 years. So again, you use future perfect continuous to describe the cause of something in the future. So something is Clarence having perfect English in the future because he is returning to Germany in the future. And what was the cause of him having perfect English when he returns to Germany in the future? The cause is he studied English in the United States for over 2 years. So how do you express all these together? Clarence's English will be perfect when he returns to Germany because he is going to have been studying English in the United States for over 2 years. Okay. Now, he will be tired because he will be exercising so hard. Future continuous. This is will be exercising is future continuous. This says that he will be, like, again, coming back to future continuous, let's just look at it again. Interrupted action in the future, specific time as an interruption in the future, future continuous, and parallel actions in the future, along with atmosphere in the future. So here, when you use future continuous will be exercising here, you say that he will be tired because he will be exercising at that specific moment in the future. Okay. But when you use future perfect continuous and you say he will be tired because he will have been exercising so hard, you say that he will be tired because he will be exercising for a period of time in the future. So it is possible that he will be exercising, he will continue exercising at that time in the future when you are discussing this, or that he will just have finished, but he will be. So this covers both of these situations, when he is continuing to exercise and when he is already finished with his exercises, but he is tired. So he will be tired because he will have been exercising so hard. But when you say he will be tired because he will be exercising so hard, you say that at that time also, when he is tired, he is continuing to exercise. So you see, future continuous is limited, and future perfect continuous in this case is more open to more situations, right? So if there are any questions at any time, feel free to ask. I will send this document on the channel, don't worry, but let's just quickly get this done with. There are only 2 slides. So you won't get a promotion until you will have been working here as long as Tim. Again, whether it is correct, whether it is incorrect. If it is incorrect, why is it incorrect?
So I don't think the will is needed there. You won't get a promotion until you have been working here as long as Tim.
Okay. And Shafi?
सर मुझे सही लग रहा.
सही लग रहा है. अच्छा, तुम लोग को बार बार बोले हैं कि क्लॉज में जब टाइम लगा हुआ हो तब, जब टाइम के साथ स्टार्ट हो रहा हो क्लॉज, until when, before, as soon as, at the time of, जब क्लॉज स्टार्ट हो रहा हो उससे, तब फिर फ्यूचर यूज नहीं कर सकते. फ्यूचर यूज नहीं कर सकते. यहाँ पे फ्यूचर यूज नहीं कर सकते, फ्यूचर परफेक्ट कंटिन्यूअस. इसीलिए जैसे यहाँ पे जैसे ऊपर में देखो, यहाँ देखो, जैसे while I am going to be finishing my homework, this is future continuous, but you cannot use future continuous here because ये देखो, ये जो पोर्शन है सेंटेंस का, ये टाइम्स के साथ स्टार्ट हो रहा है कि while, when, before, after, by the time, as soon as, if, unless, until. तो आप इसमें यूज नहीं कर सकते फ्यूचर टेंस, गलत है. इसी आप कहिएगा फ्यूचर कंटिन्यूअस की जगह आई एम गोइंग टू बी फिनिशिंग की जगह प्रेजेंट कंटिन्यूअस आई एम फिनिशिंग. सिमिलरली फ्यूचर परफेक्ट की जगह व्हेन यू विल अराइव. अगेन टाइम के साथ, व्हेन के साथ स्टार्ट हो रहा है ये, when you will arrive, future perfect. You cannot, simple future. You cannot use simple future. You cannot use simple future. use simple present. Similarly, you cannot use future continuous, use simple present continuous. You cannot use future perfect continuous, you use present perfect continuous. So you won't get a promotion until you will have been working here as long as team. देख रहे हो शफी, ये तुमको सही लग रहा है? देख बोलने में कितना कितना कॉम्प्लिकेटेड है. देखो बोलने में तुमको मेहनत ज्यादा कर रहा है. ये देखो तुमको पढ़ के लग रहा है कि हाँ ये बेटर है, लग रहा है कि नहीं? दोनों पढ़ के you won't get a promotion until you have been working here as long as team, या फिर you won't get a promotion until you will have been working here as long as team. तुम तब तक तुमको प्रमोशन नहीं मिलेगा जब तक तुम टीम के जितना लंबा यहाँ पे काम नहीं कर लेते, या फिर तुमको तब तक प्रमोशन नहीं मिलेगा जब तक तुम टीम के जितना यहाँ पर काम नहीं कर लिए होगे. दोनों में अंतर दिख रहे हो? अंतर है ना?
यस सर.
हाँ, समझ में आ रहा है?
यस सर.
और कोई आप लोग को डाउट्स है?
सर इससे रिलेटेड हम लोग क्वेश्चन बना के उसके बाद अगर जैसे कॉमन एरर देखने के बाद
तो आप लोगों को अगर बनाना होगा क्वेश्चंस तो ये वाली लिंक जो है इस पे आपको एक्सरसाइजेस मिल जाएंगी.
ओके सर.
और ऐसे अगर उसके बाद आपको और भी आपके पास बुक्स है उनसे भी बनाइए. अगर और ज़्यादा चाहिए होगा तो फिर मुझे कांटेक्ट करिए, मैं आपको और एक्सरसाइजेस दूंगा. तो फिर 13 मिनट है अपने पास बचा हुआ, तो आज खत्म किया जाए यहीं पे या फिर और कुछ आपको करना है? बताइए. आप ही दोनों हैं अभी. जॉन एंड शफी, you two are here only. So tell me if you want to discuss something else, or just 13 minutes are left and we can finish this class. क्या बोलते हो शफी? जॉन?
रैप अप टुडे अब हो गया.
हो गया.
Finish.
तो बहुत ज्यादा तीनों टेंस पढ़ने के बाद
तीनों टेंस समझ में आया कि नहीं?
नहीं पूरा नहीं आया. तीनों में पूरा मतलब किसी में बीच में प्रॉब्लम भी आ गया. फिर
किसे? जैसे जैसे
जैसे कि लास्ट वाला एग्जांपल जो था ना उसमें जहाँ जहाँ क्वेश्चन उसको देखे सब जगह प्रॉब्लम हो गया. भूल ही जा रहे थे कि वो क्या है.
हाँ, तो एक बार तुम क्या चाहते हो कि हम लोग क्वेश्चन सारा कर लें एक बार?
नहीं उसको मतलब एक बार पूरा टेंस एक बार आप भेज दोगे ना उसको देखने के
हाँ.
लिए PDF, तो उसको हम लोग देख लेंगे. क्वेश्चन
ठीक है.
उसके बाद बनाएंगे.
क्विकली एक बार रिवाइज कर लेते हैं, ठीक ना? जल्दी जल्दी एक बार रिवाइज कर लेते हैं
ओके.
ताकि तुम लोग को पता रहे कि कौन चीज कहाँ पे. ओके जॉन, let's just quickly go through this entire PPT and let's just get this. So what is tense? First we discuss what is tense. Tense says the time at, during or over which something happened. Okay, 3 types of tenses: past, present, future. Past tense, something happened in the past. Simple past. Again, so सब में 4 तरह का है: simple, perfect, continuous, perfect continuous. Okay, simple past, started in the past, finished in the past. Henry arrived at the airport. Okay, started in the past, finished at the past, finished in the past. Richard studies astronautical engineering, started in the past, finished in the past after 3 years in the past only. So simple present past. Started in the past, dinosaurs were dominant animals, finished in the past because they got extinct. Now, when clauses always happen first, so same and it does not matter whether they are at the beginning or at the end. She answered my question when I paid her $1. When I paid her $1, she answered my question. That means first I pay, then she answers. If it was I paid her $1 when she answered my question, that would have meant she answered, then I paid. Okay, very simple, very simple. Now past continuous, second type. Action continued in the past, longer action in the past, interrupted in the past only. So driving, we were driving through the desert. Were driving, past continuous, past continuous. and interrupted by other action, breaking down of the car. Okay. Now past perfect. Something happened before something else in the past or before a specific time. So Tony went to Istanbul several times before he knew Istanbul very well. So knowing Istanbul well is the second thing which happened after the first thing, which was visiting the city several times. So past perfect, had visited, okay, had owned for more than 30 years, after which they felt bad for selling the house. She never saw a bear before she moved to Australia or Alaska, and she had never seen a bear before she moved to Alaska. Okay, because no specific time, so past perfect is not correct here. Now, past perfect continuous. Past perfect continuous means something started in the past, continued in the past until some time. Okay, John had been teaching, started in the past, continued in the past for more than a year before he left for Asia. So everything happened in the past, but it happened for some time. So past perfect continuous. Now, belonging, non-continuous verb, you cannot use continuous tenses. So you have to use past perfect. Now, what are non-continuous verbs? Non-continuous verbs, things you cannot see someone doing. Mixed verbs, more than one meaning. Unique meanings, unique verbs. Okay. Now coming to the present tense. Again, past mein there were four. Simple past, past perfect, past continuous, past perfect continuous. Similarly, in present there are four. Simple present, present perfect, present continuous, present perfect continuous. Shafi, you were saying something?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay. So, when an action is repeated or usual, use simple past. Eat breakfast every morning, go to work every day. Earth revolves around the sun. When do you use present continuous? You use present continuous when something is happening right now or it is not happening right now. So, I am sitting down because I am tired. Present continuous. She is studying really hard for her exam, so happening about now, but not not necessary to be happening at this exact moment. So she is studying really hard. Sally is studying really hard for her exams this week. Also, for something that is happening in the near future, I am seeing my dentist on Wednesday. Now, she is loving this chocolate ice cream. Loving is again because you cannot see her love that chocolate ice cream. Non-continuous verb, you cannot use continuous tense. So you have to use simple present instead of present continuous, and that will be she loves this chocolate ice cream. Now, present perfect means something has been completed, action completed. I have already seen that film. I do not want to see it again. Unspecified time before now. If it was specified time, if it was, remember, if it was specified time, then you would have had to use simple past. Coming back to simple past. See, sorry. See, specific time in the past, simple past. But if it is not specific time in the past when the action was completed, then you use present perfect. Now, I went to Mexico last year. Two different meanings we discussed. Went to Mexico last year means I went to Mexico in 2019. I have been to Mexico in the last year. When you use present perfect, it means I went to Mexico sometime in the last year, like in the 365 days. So it is not specific time. Okay. So when it is, the time is not specific in the past, you use present perfect. When it is specific in the past, like in this case 2019, you use simple past. अब समझ रहे हो शफी क्या तुमको दिक्कत हो रही थी? सिंपल पास्ट पर प्रेजेंट परफेक्ट में ये अंतर होता है. ऐसे हम लोग को यूज करना है. जब एकदम स्पेसिफाइड टाइम इन द पास्ट रहे तब सिंपल पास्ट, स्पेसिफाइड टाइम नहीं रहे तब फिर प्रेजेंट कंटिन्यूअस. अब प्रेजेंट परफेक्ट कंटिन्यूअस तब जब अभी उसका इफेक्ट दिख रहा है. ठीक है, अभी इफेक्ट दिख रहा है लेकिन हो सकता है खत्म हुआ, हो सकता है खत्म नहीं हुआ. लुक इट हैज बीन स्नोइंग. अब इसमें देखिए अगेन नॉन कंटिन्यूअस वर्ब है ये, हैविंग अ कार. सो you cannot use continuous form of tense, so you have to use has had present perfect instead of present perfect continuous. This is present perfect continuous for non-continuous verb, so it is wrong. For non-continuous action or non-continuous verb you have to use present perfect. Now future tense. Future tense is in the future. Simple future will be going to specific time. Again, simple is specific, perfect is unspecified. Specific time here, after being elected as the president of the United States, then I will make accessible to everyone in inexpensive health insurance. When you will arrive tonight, we will go out for dinner. Again, now this is a clause which is starting with a time expression. You cannot use future tense, like I again said. So when you arrive tonight, we will go out for dinner. Future perfect, something will happen, like again like past perfect, something will occur before another action in the future or before a specified time. So you are going to have perfected your Chinese by the time you come back from China. Future continuous, will be doing, be going to be doing, again something that is going to be happening in the future before being interrupted. I am going to be staying in the Madison Hotel. If anything happens and you need to contact me at midnight tonight, we will still be driving through the desert. Tonight they will be eating dinner. Parallel actions happening in the future. They eating dinner, discussing their plans, having a good time. When I arrive, atmosphere in the future. Again, this is a clause which begins with a time expression. You cannot use, cannot use, cannot use. I cannot stress this enough. You cannot use future tense here. So you have to use present continuous instead of future continuous. Now, future perfect continuous, will have been doing, be going to have been doing. Again, is going to have been working. Again, duration before something in the future. Before, earlier past perfect continuous was he had been working at the university for over more than a year before he went to Asia. That was duration before something in the past. Here it is duration before something in the future. So future perfect continuous only, and then again something happening in the future because of something else. Future perfect continuous. Now, what is the difference between future continuous and future perfect continuous? Future continuous means that the cause effect. This is cause effect. Okay, cause effect you can use both future continuous and future perfect continuous. When you use future continuous, it means that the cause, the effect will be seen in the future because the cause will be happening at that time in the future. Like he will be tired because he will be exercising at that very moment in the future. But you use future perfect continuous to say that the effect will be in the future, even if because of the action, the cause being in the future for a duration of time, an inexact duration of time, it may be possible that it is happening at that moment in the future or not happening at that moment in the future. Now you won't get a promotion until you will have been working here as long as Tim. Again, time expression clause, you cannot use future tense. So you say you won't get a promotion until you have been working here as long as Tim. Okay, let's stop here, guys, and